Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the second ever episode of Marketing with the Misses. Now, I told you guys last week that I was toying with the name Marketing with the Misses. Well, I have decided to keep the name. However, I am changing the day. So instead of being on Thursdays, I am now on Wednesdays, hopefully for the foreseeable future. And I think that's great because then that way I can kind of meet you in the middle of the week and help see you off to the second half of the week. So I think that will be really great. My name again is Jennifer. My husband Zachary and I own Reformation Productions, a full-service marketing agency located here in sunny Beaufort, Georgia. But you already knew that, didn't you? Good. Today, I would like to talk a little bit about a question that was submitted regarding websites. The question is, how much should a website cost? That is a really great question. And it's actually a hard question to answer if you can imagine. So I don't need to tell you guys how important having a website is for your business, right? Like, I don't need to go over how important it is because you know that already, right? Okay, because see, one of the primary goals of marketing is to let people know about you, is to tell people about your goods and services. And then once people know about you, one of the first things that they do is they go online and they try to find your website, right? So logic would dictate that there's no point in telling people who you are, who your business is, if you have nowhere to send them so that they can learn more about you, right? So that means that website equals super important, right? Website equals super important. Okay, great, we got that together. But I think people are wanting to know so much more about websites right now because I think a lot of people are starting online businesses, maybe to sustain themselves during the pandemic. Or maybe there are businesses out there that want to take their business from a brick and mortar shop and put it more online, into an e-commerce type of situation. Maybe they want to save money, maybe they just want to be safe. Either way, the pandemic has changed business, and it has changed the way that we conduct business. So all of this totally makes sense. Okay, so back to the initial question, how much should a website cost? Okay, in order for me to answer that question, unfortunately, I have to ask you two more questions and inadvertently give you a lesson in the Socratic method, which is answering questions with questions. So I apologize for that in advance. Anyways, the first question that I would need to ask you is, how much is a used car? There you go. That's actually quite difficult to answer, isn't it? Because it depends on a lot of factors, right? I mean, like what's the make? What's the model? What's the year? What are some of the features and amenities of the car, right? Like, for example, if you have a used Dodge Ram, right, fully loaded with a lift kit and like a horn that plays La Cucaracha, if you have that compared to like an older Toyota Camry with manual windows and a half torn off bumper sticker that says, "My kid beat up your honor roll kid," right? Those are two totally different kinds of cars. And those, the bells and whistles and features, along with the desired use of the car, would dictate the value that that car brings, right? Okay, so the moral of that analogy is not all cars are created the same, right? Though the same can be said about quoting a website, because not all websites require the same features. So questions need to be asked, like, how many pages will it be? What features should it have? I mean, should it have videos? Should it have blogs? Do you need to be able to take payment on the website? Because if you do, then it becomes an e-commerce site. That's an entirely different animal. Would your site need the ability to store people's payment information, shipping information? Do you maybe need the ability for employees to go into a back end? All of these questions need to be answered before you can get an accurate website quote. Now, if anybody tries to give you a web quote without addressing any of these factors or answering any of these questions, be very careful, okay? Because websites aren't sunglasses, y'all. It's not one size fits all, okay? They'll probably give you an initial cost, and that initial cost is just to kind of get you in the door. And then you might feel swindled because at some point that cost might go up as features and pages are added in accordance to what your business might require. And we don't want you to feel swindled, do we? So nope. So it's really important to make sure that your website has all it needs and that you're not paying for more than you need, right? Okay, so the second question, and so we answered the used car question, we understand that. The second question is, how much are you willing to invest in the success of your business? Running a successful business isn't free. Heck, it's not even cheap. Sometimes companies that offer free or low-cost templated websites might seem like a great idea. I mean, right? Especially in the economic climate right now. I mean, with the economy being the way it is and business owners not wanting to spend money, I can understand why that would look like a good idea. Trust me, I get it. I am also a small business owner. But I believe the old adage is, you gotta make money, you gotta spend money to make money, right? Or maybe it's, you get what you pay for. Both are gross. Either way, both are right. You know, it's a necessary evil. If you are serious about creating a successful business or maintaining a business and surviving through this pandemic, you have to invest in it. Hobby businesses make hobby money at best. The cheapest way to do something might not always be what is best for your company. So don't always look for just what's the cheapest around. Look for what is the best for your business that also falls in line with what you can afford. Make sense? And if you want your business to truly succeed, you have to create a website that will have a smooth operating interface, which means all the pages work, people know how to get from point A to point B on your site and everything functions properly. And you have to have a great user experience for the customer, okay? According to Time Magazine, people spend approximately less than 15 seconds on your entire website, okay? And in fact, it is said that a person will spend they will already know if they like you, your company, your product, your business, between 1 and 3 seconds after getting to the first web page. They've already made up their mind. That's extremely pressuring, right? So much pressure. So you see, you have to get it right away to get the sale. So you have to know who you are marketing your products and services to, okay? Not everybody is going to buy from you, but who will, okay? And then you have to know the right words to say to them. Now, we call that web copy, right? So know the right things to say to the right people. And then you have to have really good professional photos and videos that show off your product and services, and videos that might answer questions or show processes before, potential customers have even the chance to ask them. And most importantly, you have to be on brand, okay? Know your company's brand and let the look and feel of that brand permeate through the entire website. Be memorable. Make it stick with them. If they see the same type of thing 7 times, they will remember it. So be consistent. So we all know as kids, right? And as parents, really, the most important thing is consistency. Because the more consistent you are, there's safety in that. There's safety and consistency, and trust gets built. So the more consistent that you are with your brand and your look and feel, the more people will trust that you know what you're doing. So my husband and I actually co-host a podcast together called the Straight Shot Marketing Podcast. Plug. Anyways, we are dropping an episode. Well, first of all, let me explain. The podcast of itself is all about how marketing impacts us in everyday life. It's a riot. You should check it out. It's very informative. There's some humor. There's some really great topics. We're dropping an episode this Monday called UI UX: The Importance of Web Design. And if you want any more deep dive information into this topic, I think you should check it out. Because basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the mechanics of how to build a really great user experience for people. And we have a special guest, Mr. Frank Scott, who's going to talk with us. He's a little web nerd who's fantastic and a good friend of ours. So you can't miss that. So check out the podcast. It is wherever you get your podcasts, or you can just straight check it out on the website, straightshot.net. It's also found on the reformationproductions.com website. So check out the UI UX podcast, because that'll give you a little bit more information as to what I'm talking about with the interface and experience thing. While you're there, also check out some of the other podcast topics that we have talked about. There's some really great ones there. A lot of information, some really interesting, some really amusing podcasts there. Plus, we also have some pretty hilarious teaser videos that you might enjoy. So check that out. So there you have it, gang. The cost of a website depends on features that you need to have to make the most favorable and profitable experience for your customers possible. Okay? How much you are willing to invest in your website will directly impact how much your customers will invest in you, your product, your services, your brand. You don't need to spend a fortune. You might not need many of the bells and whistles, but what you do need is to identify what you do need, right? And make the commitment to doing it right. I don't want to see you waste money on things that you don't need and to get overpromised on websites that don't deliver. I would like to see you be efficient. I'd like to see you be effective. In times like these, moving your business online might be the only place that you get interaction with the public. The stakes are quite high right now. All other forms of marketing that you might do that involve social media, advertising, anything that you do, all of that points back to your website. So make a great impression and make the sale. That is how we are going to survive this economy. And speaking of surviving, I also wanted to remind you guys that my lovely and amazing husband is hosting a Zoom webinar coming up in the next couple of weeks called Surviving Corona. And you don't want to miss that, because we're talking about, he is talking about, I'm going to be avidly listening, probably in my pajamas like the rest of us. He is going to be talking about how the coronavirus has impacted all of business and what we can learn from it, how we can survive it, and what the world might look like on the other side of it. So you're not going to want to miss that. The Zoom webinar is Wednesday, August 19th at 10 a.m. You can go online and register right now at bzacharybennett.com/events. Again, the webinar is Wednesday, August 19th at 10 a.m. I hope to see you there. Hop online and register for that right now. So before I get out of your hair, I wanted to give a little love to another Facebook show that we're putting on here. It's called Tuesdays at 2:22 with Keith Live. I think it should be a really good time. If you guys can't make that Facebook Live event every Tuesday at 2:22, that's okay, because you can catch the rebroadcast later on in the week. So you should check that out. A little love to you, Keith. So yeah, I believe that's it for today. I think I'm done. I will see you guys next Wednesday. And until then, stay healthy, stay positive, and get back to work. Bye.